Hi guys, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at the Firebird F7563, 7562, made by Ganzo. As is normal for Ganzo, the Firebird series continues with their 440C on their blades, as you can see right down there if we zoom on in. Okay, so if we zoom on in on these blades, we can see, it says F756 440C, made by Ganzo. The only one that's different, which is slightly different than the rest of them, is this orange one here. And it's, instead of saying F, it just says 756. And instead of saying made by Ganzo, it says made by China Ganzo. So this one run, I guess they tried a different printing method. Don't know why. Doesn't really matter. It's not much different from the rest. So what we've got is 440C steel, not black wash. I would love to see a black wash. If you're listening, Ganzo, a lot of guys would love to see black wash. It's a black coated blade. I really prefer your gray coated blades. Much nicer than your black. But your black coated is not bad. Stonewash, those are your two options. F7563 for black, F7562 for stonewash. The fourth digit always conveys the blade treatment in their current knives that Firebird is putting out. They weren't always doing that, but that's what the current scheme seems to be for their naming, not scheming, their naming convention. G10 handle scales. We've got Access Lock, which they prefer to call their G-Lock series. G-Lock, Ganzo Lock. We've got these little green phosphorescent material. I'm not sure exactly what type of plastic it is. I'm not too fond of those. They're okay. I've taken them out on other ones. I did some testing on it. I tried really hard to get them to glow, and I couldn't get them to glow. I've watched other YouTube videos, and I've seen one where a gentleman got his to glow a little bit for a few minutes. It's not going that well, so hopefully Ganzo will either switch up the formulation, or better yet, just say that that was an experiment that has lived its course and go on with something else for their knife design. I wanted to show you a knife with their gray coating because you need to see that because it's really nice. Here's their new F741, and I put it next to the F756, and see the difference in color there? It's like a gray instead of this black. And what they did was, instead of using anodized hardware, they've used gray hardware all around. But that's a personal preference thing. That's not judging this coating at all. I just am describing what I prefer. Let's talk about these knives in their specifics before we get into the depth of the review. I've already mentioned 440C steel. When the knife is closed, the handle is 4 3/4 inches, which is 12 centimeters. When it's open, 8 3/8 inches, which is 21 centimeters. The cutting edge from where my pen tip is to the tip of the blade is 3.5 inches, which is 8.9 centimeters. We'll just call it 9 centimeters. The thickness of the steel on the blade is 3.3 millimeters, which is 0.12 inches. The thickness of the handle right here is 1/2 inch, which is 1.3 centimeters. No lanyard hole. Check that out. No lanyard hole on this knife at all. The blade comes back and doesn't come too terribly close to this very back pillar. So if you tie a lanyard tightly on that back pillar, it should be safe enough for you to use a lanyard if you choose to do that. The liners on here are skeletonized. I'm going to see if it shows up better on the black. You can see those 3 holes right there. Let's see how it shows up on this. Yeah, that's okay on this. That helps save a little bit of weight. 4.5 ounces still, which isn't bad. I don't mind that at all. 128 grams. I've seen someone weigh the carbon fiber version, and it's essentially the same. I call it a spay tip because that's really what it is. Some people are going to call this a drop point. I think that's what Ganzo's website calls it. Some sites that describe knife designs call this a tanto. Some would call this a reverse tanto. And some called this a drop point. Maybe this part here is the drop where the swedge is. But really, if you look at it and you look at traditional knives, this shape with this, sort of modified reverse tanto and then a belly, that's a traditional spay shape blade. And that's what I like to call it. And that's why I'm calling it that. You can disagree, and I'm totally fine with that. That's neither here nor there. I'm just telling you why I'm saying what I'm saying. They've used the traditional pocket clip that Ganzo uses most frequently on their knives on this Firebird, and I like it a lot. It's very functional. The G10 is more than adequately grippy. It feels good in the hand, and it's not going to come loose. This little bit of a ramp up here keeps the, as well as the jimping up here, keeps the knife securely in your hand. It's not going to slide forward if you are doing a stabbing motion and it suddenly stops by hitting something. It's unlikely that your hand's going to slide forward and for you to cut yourself. It's always possible, of course. You must be careful with your knives, but it's a good design here to keep you safe. The way the grip is shaped, you can hold this knife any way you want. A saber grip, a back grip, a forward grip, a pistol grip. However you want to try to hold this knife, this handle will work. The axis lock on all four of these worked just fine out of the box. I just really like it a lot. I don't have a lot of room underneath my apparatus here that I use for taping, so I'm not being able to do the just the axis lock flip that well. There I go, but I couldn't really record it because it moves so fast. I was just having it open and close using the axis lock and a little bit of wrist action. The anodization on their Ganzo knives here has improved. They first came out with the anodization, I don't know, 6 months ago or so. And it was a little bit of touch and go. The colors would be a little different from piece to piece. And now their anodization is much more evenly colorized. You get the same kind of blue all over the place. It's less likely to chip off than it used to be. Not that it was bad before, but it's even better now than it was before. So they've done their improvements. That's one thing I notice with Ganzo all of the time. They are constantly improving. So if you have not tried a Ganzo knife, get one of their latest ones, and I think you're going to have your socks knocked off by how well their knives perform and how well they're designed, and the fit and finish for a knife that costs less than $20 US. Unbelievable. For full disclosure, I bought 2 of these knives and I was gifted 2 of these knives. I'd like to share that with you just so that you know where I'm coming from. Everybody's biased. Nobody is not biased. Even if they buy the knife out of their own money, well, then they're biased, in a different way. And so bias is something that simply it is, and it's good for people to admit what their biases are most likely to be. And my bias is likely to be pro Ganzo. I've just had so many good experiences with them and almost no negative experiences at all. This knife in particular is a really good knife. The improvements that they've been doing lately have been really good. I hate doing the spine whack test, guys. I really don't see that much of a value in it. I'm not going to do it on air. I did it. The axis locks on all 4 of these work perfectly well. No problem at all. I've done cut tests. Not on this particular knife because this one is a prize on my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I've done cut tests on the rest of them. And on this black one, I don't think you'll be able to see any wear on the black coating. At least I haven't noticed any. Perhaps a little bit right here on the belly, which is perfectly normal on a black coating. You cut with a knife and the coating is going to start to show. That's one of the reasons why I prefer a stonewash or a satin coatings simply must come off. It's physics. What comes on must come off, unless it's belly fat. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, we won't go there for too long, will we? So what do we got here? We've got a knife that I really like. We've got a knife that feels good in the hand. We've got a knife that cuts well. It looks good. It's a big knife. It's got decent weight. The pocket clip is quite functional. If that's my pocket, we've got that much knife sticking out of the pocket. That's not bad. Less than half an inch, close to half an inch sticking out of your pocket. Not bad at all. I don't mind it. I don't really mind the knife sticking out of your pocket. If you did notice, it is tip up, and you've got tapped holes for right and left carry. Works really well either way. You do not have the option for tip down carry. What else do you need to know about this knife? Fit and finish. Let's take a look. Let's put all of these, stand them up this way. Fit and finish, they're all done really, really well. Back here where the scales match up with the liners, it's done very well. They've done a good job with the rounding of the G10 all over the place. No problems there. Again, this pocket clip, they've perfected this pocket clip. It is wonderful. It's a very good pocket clip, rounded nicely, doesn't stick up, no hot spots in the hand. I really like their pocket clip. I like to see change up. I like to see new things every once in a while, but this pocket clip is really hard to beat. If you're changing it for change's sake, leave this pocket clip as it is, guys. That's not a good enough reason to change this pocket clip. But if you do want to change your pocket clip, keep on working on these ergonomics of how this pocket clip feels in the hand and in the pocket going in and out. You've done a great job. Let's see how well this knife cuts. Let's take them out of the way so I don't hurt myself. Let's try some copy paper. Very good. Let's try some paracord. There's 4 layers of paracord. And cut through all 4 of those, no problem at all. And just to show you that it's regular paracord, let's cut this one in half. And come out, whoever you are. See, regular paracord, 1 inch wide banding that I use, Molly type banding. Zips through that, no problem as well. Good cutting. I really like this knife a lot. The blade shape is really good for slicing. We've got it's a flat grind. Most people are not going to call this a flat grind, even though you've got this swedge up here and it comes up most of the way. Most people are going to call this a saber grind, and so that's what it is. And it works really well, slices really well. They've put the pocket, the thumb stud far enough back so that when you're slicing, it doesn't get in the way. It really annoys me when thumb studs are sticking out like an inch into the blade or something, because the knife slices really well. It's great for cutting all kinds of stuff. I showed you the paper cutting. Wood works great too. I wouldn't do the tip test in anything that's a hardwood, but it's a strong tip. Don't abuse your knives just for the sake of testing unless you are just basically doing testing. I don't do that kind of thing with the tip of my knife during normal use. And I don't advocate doing that. But a tester has to test, right? So it's a good design. It looks really cool. It feels good in the hand. What's there negative to say about this knife? I'm not too fond of those green lines. That's about it. Not much else. I like this knife. Ganzo, you guys have done a great job. Kudos to you guys. May 2017 be great for you. This weekend that I'm recording this is the weekend of your New Year's. The Year of the Rooster is just starting for you guys. May the Year of the Rooster be a very successful year for you guys. I'm really looking forward to the productions, the knives that you guys come out with. I hear that you've got axes coming out. You've got multi-tools that I've already reviewed on this channel. Hopefully you've got more of those coming. You've got all kinds of good stuff. Good on you. Great knife. My friends, remember, if you like this video, click on like, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, click on that little bell button so that you can be notified of every video that comes out, and YouTube won't unsubscribe you. And remember especially to always cut towards your chum and not your thumb.